economic growth, tourism has always been one of Nagaland's strongest assets. Our vibrant festivals, breathtaking landscapes, indigenous traditions, and warm hospitality makes our state a unique and sought-after destination. Yet, despite its potential, we recognize the challenges that we face. Limited infrastructure, accessibility constraints, and the need for sustainable tourism practices. Through this conference, we aim to identify actionable solutions and collaborations that can propel Nagaland's tourism industry to new heights. Transport and logistics, the infrastructure of progress. No economy can function without an efficient transport and logistics network. In today's interconnected world, enhanced infrastructure Mr. Yuta Saito, Second Secretary, Embassy of Japan, New Delhi. Mr. Kuala Lurin, Chairman, NIDC. Mr. Nchumemo Secretary, Department of Tourism, Government of Nagaland. Mr. Rakesh Mathur, Founding Member and Honorary President, Responsible Tourism Society of India. Mr. Kejaroko Pieru, President, Nagaland Association of Tour Operators. Mr. Garab Dorji, Chairman, Guides Association of Bhutan, Thimphu. Thank you, President. Now I request you again to kindly
and transport. Especially at a time like this, we are so fortunate and grateful to our friends who had come from far and near, our distinguished panelists from Japan, from Bhutan, from the various parts of the country, and also from our local entrepreneurs who are here to be sharing their experiences and to take the tourism sectors forward. The program has been so blessed with the presence of our advisor to the government of Nagaland, Industries and Commerce. I think we are so grateful that you could come here and be here with us in spite of all your tight schedule. I would like to give a warm welcome to our government officials, both from center as well as state, for making yourself available in this great conference. The making of this program was made in such a way that to attract the interest of your needs.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a privilege to have all of you all here today, and I'm really honored to be a part of BANG in trying to do something in the tourism sector. I have been the Secretary of Tourism from 1998 to 2004, and it was really a learning journey for me, and I have also learned a lot during this period. But it did not end with my retirement, because I was still keeping tab of what was going on in the state. And also I was keeping in touch with some of my proteges, you can call them. They were MTA officials who were there. And it's, though I couldn't do much, but I felt that there's a lot that we can do. And I'm very happy that BAN has associated me in this program. Now, what you saw is a glimpse of little glimpse of what is there in Nagaland. And in the next slide, I'll be explaining to you all in detail. Yeah. So, this is Nagaland's strength. Our president had mentioned about creation. Now, people may wonder, what do we create? But we have to look inward. We have community, and we really don't need much sort of, inputs from the government. We ourselves has to do what we have to do. Now, Nagaland has already 407 documented CCAs, and out of which 189 of them has been notified by the government of Nagaland under the Wildlife Protection Areas Act of 1972. So we are really rich in our natural resources. It has been, most of these CCAs are being managed, controlled and monitored by the village councils of each area. So that is where we have to target our focus on. And doesn't know what is the real richness, the culture and the heritage that we have in Nagaland. So we have so many of these heritages, which is the cultural diversity. We have 16 major tribes and numerous sub-tribes. And each of these tribes are not similar. We may say, okay, Nagaland is Naga and all the tribes look the same, and they may be distinct for outsiders, it may be. But to have a deeper understanding of festivals of different flowers that we can have in various villages, where little people in different villages are trying to promote in their own way little things by having festivals. We have the chili festivals, we have the orange festivals, we have the cucumber festivals, and we have the cherry blossom festivals. But Japan would be interested in that. And these are things where people are doing something in their own way, but unfortunately these are very short-lived. And so we have to see how further we can carry this, what is the kind of activity we have to create to make these little initiatives taken by the local people to do.
Mr. Kejaroko Pieru, President, NATO. Mr. Garab Dorji, Chairman, Guides Association of Bhutan. Mr. Njamemo Lotha, Secretary, Department of Tourism, Government of Nagaland. Mr. Yuta Saito, Second Secretary, Embassy of Japan. And Srimati Ekani Jakalu, MLA Advisor, Department of Industries and Commerce.
Salam Shokonoke. My name is Yuta Saito. I'm from the Japan Embassy. I'm in charge of Japan India Tourism Corporation. So thank you so much for giving me this great opportunity to talk interact with Naga people, and I would like to thank you for the organizers for this wonderful event. Actually, this year is the 80th anniversary of World War II, and this year meaning has a lot of meaning between Japan and Nagaland. Because Naga people help Japanese government to collecting the remains of soldiers for so many years. So I would like to say, thank you very much, and we are very much appreciate for your support and great effort for us. Actually, Japan and Nagaland has a special historical connections due to the bone collecting. But as a Japanese government, we would like to focus on more future-oriented cooperations with your state, because like Japan and Nagaland, we are sharing so many common things like culture, cuisines, and our habit. We have so many common things, and so we have 5 years there. So let me briefly explain the 2 things which our Japanese government conduct doing the project in Nagaland. The first one is through ODA, Japanese Official Development Assistance. We are doing so many development projects, like we are creating the cancer hospital, making the forest environment, we are making some eco projects. And also we are focusing on the people-to-people exchange program. Under the TITB, Technical Intern Training Program, we are receiving so many Nagaland youth. Japanese company people told me, Mr. Saito, we love to welcome Nagaland people, because Nagaland people is the most hard work, and they are really honest. So they become the kind of leader in Japanese company and working, So we love to focus on this, TITB scheme, and we love to receive so many Nagaland youth to Japan as well. And actually, regarding tourism, this year we are celebrating Japan-India celebrating Japan-India Tourism Promotion Exchange Year. And last year, almost 2.3 Indian visited to Japan, and 2.3 lakh Indian visited to Japan, and 1.4 lakh Japanese visited to India. And unfortunately, there are very limited people visit to Nagaland. Maybe only a few hundred people visit Nagaland. It's because we don't have enough knowledge and information about Nagaland. We know only Battle of Kohima's World War II. Such kind of image we have. But I really, as a Japanese government, we really love to focus on Nagaland, because you have such a beautiful cultures, natures, destinations, everything you have.
Nagaland International Conference on Tourism, Transport and Logistics. The team tourism as a development is one of the important topic here for tourism, not only in our country, Northeast, but in Nagaland. As we all know that Nagaland is very rich in history, ethnic, tribal culture, reflected through folk dances, music festivals, handicraft and the custom and the ways of each hill tribe has been a source of great curiosity not to the Indians but people all over the world. Nagaland is a land of charm, diverse in landscape, culture, and offers opportunities for whole range.
But we missed this important discussion, so I'm really happy to be part of this, and especially my esteemed panel speakers. Happy to be sharing this panel with you, and I'm hoping that something very impactful will come out of this two-day session. Both President and Madam Thani has beautifully put in context what we're going to be discussing the next 2 days. So I'll really not be getting into what Madam has mentioned, but I will try to pick up some points which our President has mentioned. But before I get into that, I want to thank everyone who's here, because we are talking about, we are on part of the government, and everyone, we are serious about the growth of the economy of the state, and all of you sitting here are contributing to the economy of the state in whatever way you are doing it. So I really want to thank all of you here. You are very, very important stakeholders in continuing this journey to make Nagaland's economy more robust. It's interesting because we are almost 1 hour into the program and we're talking tourism and nobody's talked about Hornbill Festival. So, but I want to start with Hornbill Festival. Because that's a good model that has come out. Some may dislike Hornbill Festival, some may love Hornbill Festival. I love Hornbill Festival. I don't drink, but I enjoy the 10 days of Hornbill Festival. So that's up to you to interpret whichever way you want to. But when we look at the economy, because I want to touch a little bit about, many a times, you all know I have been this side of the fence throughout my life, and only the past 2 years I've come this side of the fence, of the government side. So I'm really also trying to understand, because when I was on the other side, like many of us talk, it's always the government that is at fault. We like to blame the government for each and everything that happens, that is going wrong in the state. It's the government's fault. And I've also been very vocal about that in the past, but now coming this side, then I see it's a different world altogether. And I want that these 2 days of discussion would be not just the government bashing discussion, but we also need to understand the challenges and reality. So I'll be dropping some few numbers for all of you, which I considering it is not just a group of people just to fill up the room coming in, but these are serious people who are going to be working for the future. When we look at the tourism industry, I want to go back to the Hornbill Festival. Some study had been conducted last year by Science College, Jotsoma, and in 2000, which our secretary will also help me with numbers if I'm wrong, but about in 2023, the Hornbill Festival, about 6.5 CR was spent. The government had invested about 6.5 CR, and the study shows that about 109 CR was generated. Revenue was generated, about 109 crores were generated for 6.5 crore investment. Now, last year was the 25th edition, and there was a lot of hue and cry about why is the government spending 100 CR. Now, everything, when we're talking of government, like President mentioned, it's about infrastructure. So everybody knows Nagaland because of not everybody, but the global, if people know about Nagaland, it's because of the Hornbill Festival. So let us look at the good side of Hornbill Festival and try to build that up for the other tourism areas as well. Ma'am, you have to give me 2 more minutes because I've not even got into the... and so when you look at that, industry department, we made a handloom and handicraft pavilion for 15 CR. In 4 months, we made infrastructure because this is the role of the government. Government cannot do business, but we have to, like President said, we have to make infrastructure for the people. So for this 15 crore investment, we made, there was a business that was done for about 3 crore and 13 lakhs plus some changes in 10 days. And that revenue is not the government's revenue, but that is what we are creating for the people. The entrepreneurs who are selling it, the artisans who have made it, and this is what I think the government is trying to do. I do agree that for tourism to expand, for us to explore tourism, it's important. Government plays a very, very crucial role. Infrastructure has to be in place. Now I want to take you to our budget, which is very important, not just for tourism, but for economy in general. When we look at our budget 2024, last year's budget, we see that 23,127 was the state's budget. That is the total expenditure. When we break it down, we see that revenue expenditure, which is the expenditure spent on salaries, pension, etc., 16,893 crore. 16,893 crore. And for debt servicing, the loans that the government take, for those debt servicing, it was 4,243 crore. For power purchase, it's about 600 crore. And now power is another important sector because industry cannot move even an inch if your power sector is not in place. But our AT&T loss is about almost 60%. So again, it comes back to us, the public. Are we also doing our duties and responsibilities the way we should be doing? So at the end, we are left with only about 10% to do development work. We have only about 2,591 CR to do the development work, to put up the infrastructure, to put up the road, electricity, whatever. And this is the struggle the government is going through. It is important if you look at the revenue of, ma'am, I'm really sorry, please, you have to, I'm not going to speak in the panel, I mean the later questions I'm not going to answer, but this one is important, these numbers are important. When we look at the revenue of the different states, I want to just mention 2 states. I want to compare ourselves with Assam, because of course we are really different, but state's revenue, Assam's state revenue, which they generate, that is non-taxable revenue, is 34,149 crore. In comparison, Nagaland's revenue is 1,787. And our own, the taxed ones are, Assam has 8,871 crore, whereas Nagaland, ours is only 464 crore. So when we really look, it's like the thing of chicken and egg, which comes first, the chicken or the egg. So likewise, is the government to be blamed or are the people to be blamed, So these are the struggle that we are also, as a newbie to the government, we are also struggling on our own. The government cannot do much on our own. I'm sure under the leadership of our Honorable Chief Minister, the 60 of us, because it's an oppositionless government, we are all trying our best to make sure that we are doing the right thing for the people. But it's a collaborative effort. Both, we have to stop this blame game. We are blaming the government and the government is blaming the people. But as long as we come together through platforms and through initiatives like BAN, I'm sure I can see a positive, there's a positive headway, and I'm really, really happy to be part of this conversation. And I want to be part of not just this conversation, but also to take whatever the outcome and see whatever way, in my own capacity as advisor of industries and commerce, and also on behalf of the government, we are always there to support and to work together as partners. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Positive step in that segment. How we can help people grow to tourism is we are happy to partner with people who want to set up hotels, who want to set up resorts. We can come, help, operate and manage them. We can help in skill development of the guides we were talking about for Hornbill or be it other people. We as a company also run a hotel management institute, so we can partner. We have a hotel here, we have resources where we can partner and upskill people. When we upskill people, we also see when the growth of tourism happens, you might have a reverse brain drain, as people would say, people from outside wanting to come back, Nagas who are working outside, wanting to come back home and work. So that is what we can do. Another thing which comes by is everyone talks about infrastructure. Now, invariably, infrastructure and development goes hand in hand. What is, I think, missing today is marketing the state of Nagaland. A lot of time people ask, oh, first question, do I need a passport? How will I work on the inner line permit? So these are things, and that is one area I think where a push from the government is required. Taking an example, if I have last week I was at one of South Asia's largest travel mart called the OTM in Mumbai. Most of the states had very, very large stalls. More than anything else, it's visibility, it is education. Someone spoke about Assam. Assam had a stall. Punjab had a stall. Rajasthan had a stall. Goa had a stall. And large presence. That is something which educates and showcases people about what the state has to offer. It's a brilliant place, very warm and hospitable people. Lots to offer in terms of handicraft, lots to offer in terms of home style remedies. I remember there is one thing, every time I come here, I am given, told by people I know to carry back, there is a package, health package which is got turmeric, which has got a couple of other herbs which make in Nagaland, packages and sells. Those things are something which could be carried across there. So we are there as far as a company, long term to support the growth of Nagaland. As we said, we are happy to partner with people. We are happy to still work with the government to provide soft skills, to train people who are there as part of the Hornbill Festival or anywhere else they find us relevant. So happy to be here and happy to partner in the growth of Nagaland. Thank you. And
to list out the pitfalls, I will also say that, not that in this session I would have the time to go into them, but I will at a later stage. One of the biggest problems in our country is the unorganized sector, which needs to be harnessed, which needs to be certified, which needs to be brought under control. And that involves inspection, it involves, a protocol of punishment and reward and things like that, workshops, training, skill building, and so on. The second biggest problem in our country is the irresponsible traveler. Ladies and gentlemen, believe you me, more dangerous than the service provider is the traveler in our country. And with the boom in domestic tourism, this is becoming a big menace. So much so that global tourists are being discouraged from coming to our destinations. They will just open the window and throw any garbage anywhere. They will do what they like anywhere. And things like that. I don't need to go into that in much detail. But the way to change that is to, number one, start with school education, which will go later into a greater thing. And we need to sort of have a code of conduct for travelers, which needs to be enforced. The third biggest problem is the plastic menace. I do not shy away from saying that the hotel industry and the tourism industry is a large producer of the carbon footprint and a large producer of affluents and garbage. There's no doubt about it. But at the same time, we can bring about changes by changing our service designs in the hotel industry and by enforcing certain rules as far as plastics are concerned. The next thing is over-tourism. Too many tourists. We need to have carrying capacity studies, and we need to look at building alternate destinations. I did talk about capacity building, conducting workshops and so on, but there is something known as the Sustainable Tourism Criteria of India, which was adopted by the Ministry of Tourism in the year 2010. What we need to do is to implement that in the state. Fourth, next, one of the major problems of domestic tourism or tourism is road safety. We need to have safe roads, and the biggest menace on our highways, and I really don't know whether it's true in Nagaland, but in many parts of the country, can you imagine we have liquor vans on the roads where drivers can stop and have a drink and proceed? I think that's the most dangerous thing to do. It doesn't happen anywhere, and I have made a proposal to the government to completely ban liquor vans on the road, on the highways. So as I said, the imposition of best practices, to be enforced, having strict laws and a code of conduct, which is supplemented by monitoring and by fines, having list of do's and don'ts at monuments and places of tourist interest, where the customer knows that if he does this, he's got to pay something. And we can have a system of wardens who are empowered to do this. We can enforce best practices, like, I'll give you an example. In trekking areas in Ladakh, which I experienced, people go on treks, and after the trekking season is over, the trekking companies are asked to go and clean the trails. Now, that is something that has become mandatory for them. Taxi drivers have to carry small garbage bags, small bags in their taxis, so that if somebody is eating a packet of chips, he doesn't throw it on the road. People are discouraged from bringing plastic bottles into monuments. For example, if I'm carrying a plastic bottle, water bottle, the gate will ask me to deposit, let's say 50 rupees. I can take the bottle in, and I'll only get it back if I show that I'm taking the bottle back out. So these are some practices which can be imposed and which can prevent the menace of. We talk a lot about film tourism and weddings. Ladies and gentlemen, please understand that weddings produce huge amounts of garbage, huge amounts of plastics and waste. So unless and until there is a code of conduct, there is some kind of monitoring, there is some kind of system that is brought. So these are the pitfalls, there are solutions which we can discuss later. And when I have the fortunate privilege of having a presentation after this, but I'll show you some pictures. But one of the ways that I have proposed to every state government is to have an empowered eco-tourism board. Now, whereas the Ministry of Tourism in every state, is busy in formulating policy, in making guidelines, they do not have the resources and the wherewithal to implement. Now, if you want to implement all these ideas, my suggestion is have an eco-tourism board, which has got a set of guidelines, which goes into these codes of conduct, and which is responsible and accountable for implementing all these policies. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're a new breed of entrepreneurs. So we have today tour operators, tour guides, homestay owners, and many other people, depending on tourism for the livelihood. So I want to say thank you, ma'am. And also, as a tourism stakeholder, I want to thank Ben for organizing this program. And because we believe that tourism is something which our people can really do well. So on behalf of all the tourism stakeholders, I want to say a very big thank you to Ben. I myself am a member of Ben, not able to contribute in any way, though very happy to be here. So I want to highlight some key issues that we as tourism stakeholders working the ground, experiences, faces, sometimes challenging opportunities. There are many things that I want to share, but with the time limit, I will be going straight to the point. So basically, if you look at the scenario of tourism in Northeast India, Arunachal, Meghalaya, and Assam. These three states are, taking away the most number of tourists. If you look at the statistics in Kaziranga alone, last year from October to December, I came across a figure. It's about 1,64,000. And there are a lot of hotels, resorts, so many properties are there. They have about 600 to 700 gypsies for jungle safaris. Elephants are there. So a lot of people, families, thousands of families are depending on tourism. They don't do throughout the year because of the flood, but from from October to April, during the dry season, a lot of things are happening. So if you look at the scenario, Kaziranga, Meghalaya, and Arunachal, west side of Arunachal, most of the tourists are going there. And Kaziranga is just a 3 hours drive from Dimapur, 5 hours drive from Kohima. So I think there's a missing link. I think we have to connect these dots, is what I feel. And we as stakeholders, we get the opportunity to travel to the nook and corners of Nagaland. And many a times we feel very sad, how tourism has happened over the past years. And I respectfully agree with what our president has said this morning. Things are not in place, so it will take some time, but we believe that government is also trying their best. And 2-3 things which I would like to highlight in this space is recently the government of Nagaland, under the initiative of the Investment Development Authority of Nagaland, has given out 80 cars, 80 vehicles. So many of us, I'm sure, are beneficiaries of this scheme. They call it the Nagaland Tourism Connect scheme. So many of us are beneficiaries of this scheme, and I'm very happy that the government has given such a big boost to the transport sector. So this is a very good thing, and I think we all appreciate this, and we still want more. Is what we want to tell to our government, and also the homestays. Homestay is one area where I think it will really help the local entrepreneurs in the rural areas. Nagaland, as we know, is not a 5-star destination. We are yet to become a 5-star destination. We have probably very soon we will be getting 5-star properties. But in the nook and corners, in the far-flung areas, the homestays will be the best mode of accommodation. Because we know in tourism and hospitality, there are 3 key elements: amenities, accessibility, and attractions. Without these 3, there cannot be a destination. So when we go to the nook and corners, we come across tourism buildings, infrastructures built in the wrong places, wayside amenities, where tourists will never go. So I think over the past years, we have dumped a lot of money. So this is something which you really feel sad as stakeholders. I would like to mention one village in the far eastern side of Nagaland. There's a village called Peshu. And if you go there, there are still a lot of houses built with slate roofs, stone roofs. So this kind of unique places where we can drive, we can take a lot of people to go and experience. So there are a lot of opportunities, potentials are there, but I think we will have to wait for the good time. And we have so many things that we can do, but we can't do everything. But if we have to look for a model, just last 10 seconds. I think we have our Bhutanese friends here. Bhutan is not very far from us. We have a lot to learn from Bhutan. So Bhutan is the very good destination where we can learn a lot. I think we should all visit Bhutan once. Thank you once again, ma'am.
We talk now. Otherwise, you are not right. You are not to be right. That's what we normally say. And when we, it's about the role of the guide in Bhutan. And what we, in Bhutan, guides are compulsory, it's a must. In fact, we have been fighting for that only because we have almost now around 4,000 guides who are, most of them have now become freelance guide from being a permanent tour guides. So because of that, we need to actually engage them, in a better way so that, the employability rate is high and also they make enough to meet both ends. So those things are being done. So when I was asked to actually, I did actually hear on the TV Martin Man. And Tom. But another do with my already. Slides here so that I can just see and talk just on few points only. Otherwise, very difficult to see from here. Okay. Take it. Okay. Again. The spiritual role of tour guides in Bhutan. How important tour guides are in Bhutan. The tourist actually sees through the eyes of a guide. And also, if you look at the survey done by the Department of Tourism, 70% of the tourists have said that when they were asked about how they came to know Bhutan, they said it's word of mouth. So when you talk about word of mouth, it's the guide. That the guides have played such a big role in promoting Bhutan through a guest that visited Bhutan. And then they went happy back. And then they also, the people who have visited Bhutan will have definitely out of 10, if you choose, at least 5 to 6 of them will be able to afford the tour to Bhutan. So because of that also, we do have actually guests, who are mostly high end. Very rarely we would have students from college, any institute, or maybe young, but majority of the tourists that visit Bhutan is 56 years and above. So that also actually, and then for that, if you don't have a seasoned guide, it's a problem. So because of that also, we actually make a lot of emphasis on giving proper training. One, I'm going a little bit off track, but I think I should because the question was already made on this. So if somebody wants to become a guide in Bhutan, the foremost important thing is that he needs a police clearance. It's called NOC, no jail certificate, medical certificate, because he or she also needs to be paid. And then he or she should have a minimum qualification of